Hey! Welcome to Fashion Week Studio Live. Again, this evening, oh boy, do we have something very special, and it's safe to say, exclusive. We have with us this evening the amazing, dynamic duo from Australia, J'Aton. They've dressed Jennifer Lopez, the Queen, Beyonce. They've dressed, when I tell you, Kylie Minogue, the amazing Adult has modeled for them. All right. So in any second now, we're going to have J'Aton Couture live.
Yes.
Hey!
Hey! Apologies on our end. You know, we're not very technological here.
No, thank you guys. Thank you.
No,
Listen,
thank you.
Hey, I was just telling our audience about you guys. You know, look, Fashion Week Studio, we love you guys. We love you guys.
Thank you.
We really do.
Thank you.
And to the audience, this is the super amazing dynamic duo, J'Aton.
It's very kind. Thank you.
You guys have dressed some of the most amazing people on the planet. And I just want to say this, guys. Look, your designs, oh my goodness. If someone was driving 65 miles an hour down the street and they pass by somebody who's walking with your design, they are going to come to a screeching halt. That's
Agree.
your design.
Thank you. Agree. Well, that's our intention.
Well, hey, it works. That is definitely what happens. I have to say. I have
That's
to
very
say.
kind.
To the audience, again, J'Aton. They've dressed Beyonce, the Queen, Kylie Jenner, Kylie Minogue, Jennifer Lopez, and the amazing Adult has modeled for them. These guys are super aesthetic and super amazing. So, J'Aton, again, thank you guys for joining us this evening. Really appreciate that. And let me say good morning, because it's Australia.
That's right. Good morning here and good evening to you guys.
Thank you. Thank you. So, listen, we have a few questions for you guys. I understand that we may have a bit of a time limit, but it's totally fine. And the good thing is that we are just ecstatic about what you guys are doing. All right. What we really want to know is, how did this amazing duel come about?
Well, where do we begin? Many years ago, let's say, we met at fashion school back in '89.
Wow.
And funnily enough, we weren't even friends. We were so disconnected. We were so different as people, and we were like opposite sides of the room, different friend groups. And I think by the end of the year, you know, we ended up becoming good friends, because there was 10, 15 guys in the group, and by the end of the year, most of them had dropped out. So there was only us two left. So we had no choice but to become friends, you know.
And we're very competitive. So he would constantly come up and say, "What score did you get?" And I'd always be 2 points higher, and he'd be so angry. So we naturally just...
So I'd have to go and argue with the teacher as to why does he have 1 point more than me? That's so unfair, you know. Come on, my work's just as good.
And she changed the score. I'm like, what are you doing?
Wow. Oh.
Yeah.
Slight manipulation.
Yeah.
But,
that's his charm.
That's
why he deals with the clients and I don't. I'm behind the scenes. So no one gets to meet me. I'm Cinderella in the basement.
It's good. It's where he belongs. It's good. Yeah. So.
Wow. And since
89.
that time,
He was 16.
So back in '89, I was 16. Anthony was 17. And of course, we did a 3-year fashion course. It was quite intense back in the day. And I think we all went on our own paths, our own journeys, doing what we did. And we met in '95. So we met in '95, and I was working for myself. Anthony was doing the same, and we just had an abundance of, you know, commissioned couture garments that we were creating from home, literally in our parents' dining rooms.
Working day and night.
And yeah, then this opportunity came of, you know, a little showroom, you know, in the suburbs that we come from, and we opened up shop in June '95.
We were
that's where it all
scared.
began.
We thought we couldn't pay the rent. I think back then it was like $150, and we thought we're going to close down in the first week. And we just thought, you know, let's try. What's the worst that can happen? And the rest is history. 25 years later, we don't pay $150 a week rent anymore.
No. That's slightly changed.
That was the good old days. And yeah, we've just created something that became bigger than what we ever imagined, because we never really had those type of dreams, because the world was simple. There was no Instagram or Facebook. We just thought,
I think back, you know, you did what you loved, and that's what we loved doing. And we thought, well, we have something here. Let's just continue and create a business. But it wasn't about becoming or doing anything that was extraordinary. It was, let's do what we're doing. We love it. We have an amazing clientele coming through. We're making some dollars, which of course is important at the same time. Yeah, and it just kind of really happened that way.
It just worked. And Instagram came around and just globally opened us up, because that's what Instagram does. So all of a sudden we started getting calls from all around the world, and they're like, oh, we want a dress. Where are you? We're in Australia. Australia? Couture? We're like,
it's not that far though. It's not that far. It's only a 24-hour flight.
So they're like, how can we get a dress? We're like, oh, you have to come to Australia. They're like, we're not coming to Australia. Wow. So, you know, then that became the issue, where people just assume that your brand is so big. Don't you have a store in New York? And don't you have a store in Europe? And we're like, no, we're just in Australia. Wow. So people assumed we were like Chanel and Dolce & Gabbana, and they just assumed, oh yeah, where is your nearest store? And we're like, that's not how we work. We're a small couture house. We're hands-on. We do most of the sewing. We don't have a big team. Wow. And it's a difficult concept for people to grasp, because today, you know, that's not how business works. Today you can get it instantly, and we're still sort of old school. No, you need to go to Australia and have your measurements. So then we started traveling, and we'd, you know, take appointments in America, take appointments in Europe, and our clientele can become a part of our world that way. So our business model is very different to most people out there, but it's because we're small, you know, and we keep the business small because
well, we can control it.
We can control
as best as we can, and still keeping the integrity of the brand and the quality, and just making sure that every client that walks in leaves here with the gown of their dreams, and an experience and a creative journey. That's what we offer. That's one thing that our clientele really love about our brand, is we take them from the basics of a sketch all the way through to this completed garment, which, you know, for people that this is not their world, it's mesmerizing to see how this gown comes from a toile to this extraordinary piece that I'm now wearing, whether it's on my wedding day or the red carpet. So
21st,
it's that journey that we give our clientele.
And where they're making the garment. So we're on the floor pinning the hem, and the client just looks at us in shock, thinking, we didn't expect you to be doing the fittings. We're like, we're also sewing your dress when you leave. So it's, you know, that's who we are. That's our brand. That's our reality. And the brand really is bigger than us, because yeah, we're very proud of what we've achieved, but we're also shocked. We wake up and think, did we really dress that person? Wow. How did they contact us? We don't advertise. We hardly put any pictures on Instagram. I think in 10 years, we don't even have 200 pictures. The brand doesn't even look alive. It's like, where are these people? There's no website. So for us, we think, how did these people find out about us? And it's, you know, the power of social media. That's what Instagram is. Yes. So when we get a call from Madonna's people saying we want you to do her tour, we're like, what? How? How did these people know us? We don't even post pictures. And then when we have to say to them, no, we can't because we're busy, they're like, what? You said no to Madonna? It's like, we didn't want to say no, but we're too small. Yeah. So it's...
But also there's the distance, and that's another problem.
Yeah.
You know.
So...
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Look, but again, it speaks to the majestic reality of your designs. Like I started out by saying, when you see your designs, you stop to a screeching halt, and you're like, wait a minute, what am I looking at? This is absolutely stunning. Yeah. And I think, yes, social media has its part in this, but I have to say, you guys, I mean, the combustion of you guys coming together and creating J'Aton. Your designs just do that. If you're scrolling down the page of any social media platform and you come across your designs, you're stopping. You're stopping. You're going to look at that. And that leads to my next question. Like, what are the elements, would you say, that led to your success, to J'Aton success?
I think women connect with us because we're dressing women through the eyes of men. Our background is Italian, both of us, and we're very Italian blooded. So although we're Australian, we're not what people expect from an Australian. We're no Hemsworth, surfer. We're like little Italian boys that parents immigrated to Australia. So we still live a very Italian culture. So for us, we embrace the female form and we love dressing women like women. And that's just who we are. And women get attracted to that. So it's not like we're demanding women wear this. That's what we're creating. And the women just come. And we're like, okay, so we must be doing something right. So we connect with women on that level. We embrace their femininity. And, you know, with the world the way it is today, people look at that and go, you know, don't disempower us. We're like, but you are empowered being woman. Why would you want to be man? You know, you're a woman, you're powerful as a woman, and we're going to dress you, and you are powerful. You own that power. So we've always dressed women almost like armor. And I think women just feel empowered with our dresses because we put a lot of work, we put a lot of love. But whenever we design for the individual. So we try and capture their personality. So when they wear the dress, it's not just what me and Jacob want to wear. Yes. We're not that aggressive or arrogant. We're always about, oh, what do you like? We're so concerned about always pleasing people that it becomes more about them. So they wear something that they can embody because they are a part of it.
But I think also there's a psychological side to this as well, where, you know, you meet a client for the first time and you need to tap into their mind and their personality and understand who this person is. And this is what I believe that you can wear. Maybe your mind hadn't gone to that design or concept, but I know you can do this. And I know we can bring the best out of you to make you feel like you've never felt before, you know? So it's, I think it's just integrity and, you know, just always being true to ourselves and just being open and honest. And
they feel safe with us because we want them to look amazing. We don't know what it feels like to wear dresses. We don't want to wear dresses. So when we dress a woman, we're like, are you sure you like it? They are the subject. They have to be happy. And I think women love coming to a male designer because we don't have an opinion, because we don't know how it feels. So if they say, oh, it's not comfortable, we're like, oh, okay. And we go out of our way to make it comfortable. Whereas I think a female designer, she knows how she wears a dress and she may be designing with her own personality into it. But we don't put a lot of our own thoughts into it because we think, oh, it's about you. It's about how you feel, because we don't know how it feels to be a woman. So we can only dress them through the eyes of a man. So it's, I think, that sort of juxtaposition that women just feel so comfortable with us. We become like their counselors and psychologists. We could become best friends, and there's that trust.
You also build amazing relationships through our career. You know, we've met the most amazing people at all levels, and they become your lifetime friends. And that's what's also quite amazing about the industry that we're in. It's the connections with people that you thought you may never cross paths, and yet here we are today, that we're sitting down having dinner together, you know. And I think that's also the beauty of what we do.
And also we've been very true to our heritage. It wasn't cool to be Italian in 1976. So it was like, we were always those little Italian boys with smelly sandwiches. It was like, what's that cheese? Ugh. And we were like so scared, and we thought, oh, we were never cool. And we always felt like we just don't fit into what people think an Australian is. We were never athletic or sporty. And so we always sort of thought, well, we're not that cool person. And we just embraced who we were. And when it came to our designs, they were very Italian. And a lot of the Australians didn't take to them. They were like, oh, they're very ethnic. And we were like, oh, because we're Italian. So we're always justifying why we were who we were. But we had people that loved us. So we were servicing those communities that loved us. Yes, they're all ethnic. But eventually, Australians fell in love with us. Maybe 20 years down the track, they understood who we were, because today the new generation love and embrace fashion. So they understand brands, they understand cultural diversity. So I feel, you know, Australia now gets J'Aton and they embrace it fully. But, you know, 20 years ago, that wasn't the case, but we stood our ground. We didn't care that our dresses were like corseted and very dramatic, and, you know, the bust was pushed up, and like people were like, God, that's so not the Australian lifestyle. We're like, yeah, but we're a multicultural country. We've got women that want to wear these dresses. We're not crazy. We're paying the rent. Women are ordering them. So we were never the cool kids. Vogue Australia never really liked us. We weren't in the magazine till...
But you're cool now.
Wow, that's debatable.
Cool.
I don't think I'm cool, I'm
cool
honest.
Right, that's right.
But we weren't embraced by the magazines because we weren't on trend. We never followed trends. We just followed what our client wanted and what we believed in as artists. We love architecture. We've always been very architectural. We love renovating and building homes. So I think there's quite a tailored architectural element to our work. So, you know, if something's in fashion, I don't know because I don't follow social media. I don't know what's happening. So therefore, I think we miss out on the Vogues and the Harpers thinking that we're cool because they're probably thinking, what are they doing? That's not in fashion. We're like, oh, what's in fashion? So, yeah, I think we've been very true to who we are as a brand, and that's evident. You can look back at our work 30 years ago before we opened J'Aton. It's exactly what we're doing now.
And I think we've always been believers of longevity. You know, I've never wanted us to be that 5-minute brand that's spoken about and then it's disappeared. For us, it's always been integrity and longevity of the brand that we've created from nothing to continue for as long as it can, and however long we can, you know, continue that for.
Well, you know what's interesting? As you guys,
today's a special day.
Oh,
today's a special day for us because we just came out of isolation. One of the longest, I think, in the world.
Over 100 days or something.
Over 100 and something days.
Wow.
So today's our first day officially back. And my PA.
This is good.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It is time to celebrate.
we haven't been outside yet. But our PA who runs our business is my sister, and she just had a baby just now.
Just this morning.
Congratulations, you're an uncle.
So we have
it's exciting. Very beautiful.
So now we have someone to lead this to.
Hey, you know what's interesting? As you were communicating, two people said two interesting things, which totally went with what you were describing. One said, you are way ahead of your time. And then Afeni said she was so happy with her dress, her wedding dress. Yeah. So it's like, you know, everything you were saying, individuals are responding in a way that it's exactly what you're saying. You know, you guys are way ahead of your time. You were and you are. And I think that's amazing. That's just totally beautiful. Amazing. So I was just going to ask you about COVID. And I was going to ask you how it affected you. And you guys seem to still keep creating despite COVID. Am I right by saying that?
You are right.
Yeah.
You are right. And I think, you know, this has been thrown upon us globally, and it's, you know, you could never have imagined that we would be in this situation. However, we've taken the positive out of all this and tried to remain optimistic with what the future holds and how we can take this time to rethink our business, rethink the model, how moving forward, you know, with changing times and so much uncertainty as well. How can we change our model or rework it for it to work in the very near future?
We look for the silver lining. So during this pandemic, it's been tragic, but Australia has been very lucky, and we've just come out of, you know, like 4-month lockdown. I've never taken a day off in my life. For 25 years since we opened J'Aton, we have not stopped. We just work 24/7 every day, and our friends will, you know, tell you the same thing. They never get to see us because we're always sewing. So this time we've never had, and we feel like, oh my God, what a blessing. I don't even know who I am. And we've had like 4 months of self-discovery. But as an artist, like what that's done, I've been able to, we've lost all our clients sadly this year because they've all had to cancel their function. So we, I think 99% canceled. We just had one bride get married last week. And that was our first client, pretty much.
Wow.
And we've just had that time to reinvent, discover who we are, discover where we want to go. We've been connecting with other artists because we're locked away. We can't go out. So we've connected with our friends in Italy. We've connected with clients in America. I've connected with artists here that are in lockdown. I said, let's collaborate. So we thought, you know, if we can't do any work, let's start some collaborations. You're suffering, I'm suffering. Let's do something together. So we've met up with some artists, all virtual meetings. And there's a lot of things now that we're going to be doing with photographers and companies in Italy that do like puffer jackets. We're going to do a range of J'Aton puffer jackets with this incredible company in Italy that's also struggling. So they're struggling. We said, okay, let's get together. I want to do couture puffer jackets. So we're doing that. We're hooked up with a furniture company that was also closed down. We're going to do J'Aton furniture. We found a beautiful gin in Australia. Yeah, we're going to do a gin, a J'Aton gin for our you know, bridal clientele. So we're just sort of thinking of new ways of helping other people, other industries that are also in the same boat. And together, combined, we can survive.
Yes.
So that's what we're trying to do.
That is brilliant. That is brilliant. Because I was going to ask you, what are some of the discoveries that you made during this time? And you guys have been busy.
We've been so busy.
Actually, we have been busy. Weirdly enough, it's been quite busy behind the scenes, even though there hasn't been
There's no work and we're flat out.
No work going on, but every day there's stuff to do because we've just been able to open up our minds and just think differently than what we have been. And, you know, there's that much sadness through this coronavirus time. There's also a silver lining to that.
A lot of positives come out for humanity.
There's positive and negatives in every situation.
Yeah.
And we've also reached out to some Indigenous artists in Australia to give them a voice and use our platform for them. So we've met we haven't met, but we've met virtually. We've met a gorgeous Indigenous artist that's doing all this hand painting on skateboards. We're like, they look incredible. I'm like, let's collaborate. So we're collaborating with an artist that does her artwork on skateboards, and we're going to be inspired by the garments and work together. You know, she's a young artist, and we're thinking, you know, we're nearly 50. So for us, it's like, what's left for us? We've done everything. We've dressed the most incredible people in the world we never imagined. So now it's about helping the younger generation and, you know, giving them a platform and hopefully teaching them the things that we did wrong, to warn them, don't do this, don't do that. And just try and help the younger generation, because what else is there to life?
Wow. Wow. That is remarkably beautiful. And it leads me to this question. I noticed on your page, you guys support the Black Lives Matter movement. Yeah. I want to say this, and this is very sincere and it's very true to me. When I see individuals like you guys, J'Aton, aesthetic, great designers, reach people throughout the world, lend a voice to this sense of humanitarian effort, I want to say thank you. And here's why. Because I've had my experiences personally where they weren't positive at all. Because of whatever reason, someone's perception of me based on color or whatever else.
Yes, yes.
When you guys speak out, individuals like myself, literally, it moves me to tears because you guys are in Australia and you have the decency and the courage to speak out. And you're speaking out for those whose voices sometimes cannot be heard. And I want to say thank you for that. Thank you for that. And
it comes from here.
Absolutely. And I know that. Talking to you guys, I know that. And I sincerely want to thank you also on behalf of my children, because it affects them in the most positive way when individuals like you speak out, because it makes the world so much smaller and it makes us more connected. And it brings that sense of family and unity together. And guys, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I really mean that. We
have a responsibility to humanity because of our platform and because we're human. And if we were to ignore this, then I'm sorry, we're a part of the problem. And it was a very difficult time for us because instantly I said, oh my God, I'm going to post. I can't believe it. This is disgusting. And I didn't know what to post. I was crippled with fear. And I said, oh my God, I don't want to offend anyone. And all my friends were like, don't do it, don't do it. You're going to cause trouble. It'll pass. I'm like, what do you mean it'll pass? This is ridiculous. I never knew it was this bad. I felt ashamed that I didn't know how bad it was. Because I was so caught up in my own world, my own insecurities. You know, I've always felt that I wasn't enough Australian. I wasn't enough this. I was too Italian. I thought it was only my thing. And I thought, oh my God, I didn't realize how bad it was. I've got Greek and Italian friends. I've got Indian friends. I've got African friends. All my friends are from somewhere. So I just know that as a group, we all suffer some way.
Yes.
And I just didn't realize how bad it was. And I thought, oh my God, I have such a responsibility to do that post. I think it took us a week, night and day. I had to stop all my work. We weren't in lockdown at the time, I don't think. I stopped all my work because I just did not know how I could convey our emotions, and I didn't want to offend anyone because everyone was getting offended. Yeah. And it was the most overwhelming moment in our career. And I just thought, you know what? I'm not going to give up on this. This is going to have to be our life's work now. I didn't know. I feel ashamed that I didn't know how bad it was. And the only thing I can do to apologize for that is by action and just change.
That's right.
And that's all we can do. We're very simple people, but if you know, people feel that we're more than we are, well, great. I'll use that platform now for good. And we're going to make it our life's work. And we're sorry. We feel ashamed that we didn't know how bad it was because we just thought, oh, yeah, we get treated like this because, sorry, we don't have that issue where we walk down the street and we're judged because of the color of our skin. I might feel like, oh, but I'm Italian. People think I'm daggy. That was 30 years ago. Italian's now the coolest thing in the world. So I don't have any of those insecurities anymore.
It really is.
I have to think, how did I feel as that insecure 5-year-old kid? Well, that's what a black child's going through. And I know what it did to us. We're not confident people. We're always giving. We never take because we don't feel worthy. And I feel that, you know, that's what happens when you don't feel worthy, and you have to change that. I wish I was more confident. We'd be more successful in our business financially. We'd be where we want to be. But because always being put down, that's you as an adult. You take that into your adult life. So we just feel that we need to protect that young generation so they don't grow up like us, not asking, always sitting in the back. And I just think it's the most important responsibility we have to humanity. So we're going to make it our life. It is our life's work now.
Wow.
Well, there can no longer be any more willful blindness.
No.
Wow.
Not at all.
I am really sorry. All right. Thank you. Let me keep it together, but it's tough, man, because thank you. What you guys are, wow, sorry. Oh boy. Sorry.
It's okay.
Your courage. I admire that. I admire your love for others, for decency, and for humanity. And to think about the next generation. Sorry. Thank you.
It's important.
Because
it's important that.
Yeah, it is.
It's important that we do something because.
Yeah.
We need to do all that we can now to demand change. You know, willful blindness has enabled racism to always exist. It can no longer exist.
Yeah.
The world is going through something at the moment, and we all need to group together to not have this younger generation grow with all these issues and problems that, you know, that generations have faced. We can no longer have a world like that.
It's inhumane. And we have that problem in Australia with our Indigenous Australians, you know, and we have to protect them. Wow. They're amazing people. They embrace we have been embraced by the Black community around the world like I cannot tell you. They're our best clients. Wow. They worship the ground we walk on, and we're like, really? We get like all excited and like, feels so cool. I remember the first time we went to New York, and we're walking down the street. We're like, we're not confident people. I think how many years was it? 10?
Probably 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Walking down the streets in New York.
7-foot tall, cool black guy came up to us, and I thought, oh my God, what does he want from us? He was so tall. He goes, oh my God, you two look amazing. And we were like, what? Oh, thank you guys. I love your style. And I'm thinking,
and mind you, he was cool.
He was cool. We're like, you like our style. We're 3 foot nothing. He was tall like a model. And we're like, oh my God. And like, we've just, for us, we've just always gravitated with people with a heart and soul. So when this color divide happened, I didn't get it. I was like, I'm in shock, but I didn't question it because I thought, well, it's clearly happening. We just didn't know because we always felt that we're always sticking up for LGBTQ communities and minority groups. We've always known that they're getting attacked, and we've always tried to help and put them in our photo shoots and give them jobs. I didn't know that there was also this black issue that was just as bad. And I thought, I feel ashamed because I feel I dropped the ball because I didn't know. You know, we've got Asians that were always being picked on in Australia that we'd stand up for. And then the Indians got picked on. You know, it was the Greeks and the Italians 30 years ago, but then it became the Asians. So we're always aware that people are getting picked on. So we're thinking, oh my God, we've got to stand up for that person. And I feel that the black issue, I didn't realize how bad it was. I just thought that there were lots of bad problems in the world and we're always addressing them. So, you know, this is just something that's more important. It's at the forefront. And you've got to understand, we were always influenced growing up by people like Madonna. What Madonna did for the world, no one's done. And she's so underestimated. No one talks about her.
That is very true.
She's too old now. And it's like what she did for the LGBTQ community and for minority groups, no one's done.
Yes.
Like she challenged the status quo. Governments around the world, religious leaders wanted, like, they hated her. Our parents were like, oh my God, she's bad. Don't listen to her music. We're like, she's amazing. Look what she's doing for people. Like when I saw Like a Prayer in 1989, you know, we hadn't even started our business. We were like teenagers. We were just starting college. And where they're like, she's got the Ku Klux Klan burning crosses and she's got depicting a black Jesus Christ. Telling people, why can't Jesus be black? And that's who we were empowered by and we were celebrating. So we thought we addressed the black issue. We're like, yeah, of course, why can't Jesus be black? And everyone was like, oh my God, that's blasphemous. You can't say that. We're like, are you serious? So for us to see that we've got this issue 30 years later, it's like, oh my God, did we not learn? This is what we were taught as young teenagers. We were supporting communities. So I think, you know, that's our generation of strong, empowered. Like we remember when we were designing, women would come and say, oh, we don't want pink, we don't wear bows, because women were becoming strong. They wanted to wear suits, they wanted corsets, they wanted really tough, aggressive clothing. So we're from the generation of women demanding equality. And I remember we'd go out and I'd open the door for my friends and they'd say, don't open the door for me, you're sexist. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm not sexist. I said, I'm Italian.
Too polite.
I said, if I don't open the door for you, my mum and dad will kill me. That's how I've been raised. You're sexist. So we're like, oh. Then I couldn't pay for dinner because it was like, oh, what do you think? We can't pay for ourselves. So you know, we respected that. But we had to change as teenagers. So we're at 50 years old, we've got the same issues. I'm like, oh my God. So, you know, we understand.
There's so much more awareness now and we have to really work on that. We're aware of every situation today globally and we all have to act in some way, big or small, whatever we can do to change what's happened to not happen again.
And the problem lies mainly with our generation. I feel the young kids are amazing. Like I speak to young kids and they do not think the way our parents or people of my generation do. I mean, I'm the Madonna generation, so we should not have that because she told us it is wrong. So I just feel that there is a lot of positivity and hope out there. The kids of today are amazing. They inspire us. And I think that's what also keeps J'Aton quite fresh because we're constantly aware of what's happening with the youth. We're very interested in their music and their culture. We never put kids down. Like a lot of people say, oh, they're so entitled, this generation, they're so this, they're so that. I said, sorry, if we had what they had, we'd be the same. We didn't have Instagram. We didn't have these opportunities. Our parents didn't buy us a Mercedes. Like, I just feel
I think also we need to embrace the younger generation and it's up to us to teach them what we went through, not that they go through exactly what we did, and to teach them the new way of life and to be humane and to love, and regardless of who you are, where you come from, what you have or don't have, We are all the same. And it's up to us not to say, this young generation. No, we need to embrace the young generation and take them under our wings and make them realize life is wonderful. Let's make it more beautiful than what we can and make it more wonderful again, you know?
Yes.
It's up to us, though. It really is up to us.
I think young kids feel that with us because we have like 16-year-old girls wanting to wear J'Aton. And I'm like, how does a 16-year-old girl like their dresses? We're older than their father. Like we're like,
we're not 50 yet.
Well,
we're not 50 yet.
Yeah. So we're quite honored that the young kids find our work so cool. We're like, wow, how funny. Like the mothers will come here and the mothers look amazing because every woman at 50 now looks incredible. And they'll come in and they're like, oh, my daughter's obsessed with your work. We're like, really? Because we don't like aim at a young market. So when we dress Kylie Jenner, we sit there thinking, how does a 19-year-old girl love our work? And we're honored, but we're very grateful of that and very mindful that in order to, have that, we need to also understand that generation. It's organic for us. But I think that's why they connect with our work because we connect with the youth. Yeah. We don't put a wall up and criticize them.
Yes.
We celebrate them. And try and help them as much as we can. We're not the people, oh, they're so spoiled, they're so entitled. Come on, we're spoiled and entitled.
Well, I will tell you this. You keep saying 50, and every time you say it,
48.
I'm thinking, whatever
49.
you guys are drinking, please send some over here, all right?
H2O.
50, and I'm like, wait, does he mean like 15 years from now? 50? Like...
We wish.
Unfortunately, no.
We've never seen the light of day because all we're doing is sewing. So there's no sun.
I think we're being protected from the Australian sun.
Yeah, we've never been to the beach, never surfed. So
I swear, you guys look great, man. Like I said, you keep saying 50, and I'm like, wait a minute.
48.
49.
Or 38. 39.
That's even better. We'll take that.
So here's what's interesting is that Fashion Week Studio, what our new campaign will be, and I'll just announce it, it's going to be diversifying the runway. And one of the things, and you've hit on this, which is to celebrate cultures throughout the world. And what better way we've decided is to put those cultures on the runway. So we have designers, coming in from Ghana, South Africa, Singapore, Egypt, we just have a plethora of designers globally. And the idea is to really celebrate the unity of one world, just being able to express and appreciate each design, each region, each culture, give them a voice. And allow us to celebrate that. And it's what you said. And I tell you, man, like look, the person that said you guys are way ahead of your time is absolutely correct.
Thank you.
It's absolutely correct.
We do our best.
I think there's a lot of people that think like us as well. It's just that a lot of people don't voice their opinion because they don't feel worthy of it. And I think there are a lot of incredible people out there. It's just that we listen to the noise and the loudest voice. And that's not really representative of the people we know. There's some incredibly inspiring people out there. And we try and focus on those people. But we know a lot of people like us. We're normal.
That is good to know. That is good to know. That you guys, that tells me that you're in great company. And that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
That's awesome.
And in life, you just need to keep it real.
Yes.
You just need to keep it simple, keep it real. We're all on this earth. We're all doing the best that we can to try and achieve as best or as much as we want to achieve. But we just need to keep it real. That's all.
I remember
it's that basic at the end of the day. We're born into this world and we need to live and we need to love. We need to keep it real. We need to embrace, I think it's quite simple at the end of the day.
Yes.
I remember...
well said. Well said.
Yeah.
Yes.
One situation, we were blessed to do Michael Jordan's wife's wedding dress, Yvette.
Wow.
And so we flew to America for the wedding. And the first day we met Michael, we're very short, so luckily we're sitting down. So the first day we met Michael, he comes out, he's like, And we're like, oh, hi, how are you? And he's there like, oh, I'm so honored to meet you. And I was like, shouldn't we have said we're honored to meet you? And I was like, wow. You know, that to me is...
That said a lot to us.
Who wow. people are.
Yeah.
People can look at celebrities and think, oh, but they're this, they're that, and the other. You would be like that too if you had that. At the end of the day, we've seen the human side of people. Wow. For him to say to us, two unknown designers, yes. You know, I'm honored to meet you. I thought that was my line. I'm honored to meet you. And I had nothing. I could just say, thank you. So,
you know what's interesting?
That's the beauty of life.
Yes, absolutely. Totally agree with that. And I have to say this, because I mean, okay, you guys seem surprised that you're known globally. See, I'm not surprised because I see the work. And now even talking to you guys, I'm like, you guys are simply amazing. You really are. You really
Thank you.
And so globally, you know, everyone knows you globally. You know, it makes sense. It makes sense. The level of aesthetics that you put into your work, it shines globally. I mean, what does that feel like? Like for you guys, like what is, you know, you put the work in and just so you know, my grandfather was a designer. He did male and female designs. Yeah. And I was sitting watching, you know, and I would see the detail and I would see the work and it would take time, you know, and his whole thing was, you know, the detail, pay attention to detail. And he was very specific in that. And it was a life lesson for me as well. Now, you guys, you look at your designs and the detail. Oh my God. Like I really believe you don't see the sun for like, you know what I mean, probably 72 hours when you're working on the dress. like
oh, you're not wrong there. We don't see the sun.
Unfortunately, the world's become really fast, but with couture, it can't. It still needs time. You cannot rush it. You cannot bluff it. And with us, we are true to the art of haute couture, even though we're not considered couture designers because we're in Australia and we're a small Aussie brand. I'm sorry, these hands have only done couture. It's loyal. We don't cut corners. And there's a sacrifice, and the sacrifice has been to our own lives. We don't have a social life, sadly. But you know what? I think that's evident in the product. Yes. So I think our product is something that, you know, will stand the test of time because it is from a bygone era. We're doing everything that they would have done 50 years ago. We're loyal to the craft. The issue is it's very difficult to balance that with finances in the 21st century because everyone wants it now and they want it cheap. And it's like, well, that just doesn't work. If a dress has 300 hours in it, it's got 300 hours in it. So it's a difficult balancing act. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I talk to a lot of young people that glamorize our business and I like them to know it's hard. It's a lot of sacrifice. I mean, the highs are great. You know, when a celebrity wears your dress, of course, you're blown away, you're touched. It's incredible. It's the most incredible feeling you could imagine. Mm-hmm. But equally just as beautiful when a client is so satisfied after their wedding and all they can say is oh my God, everyone died at my dress. And I'm there like, what did your husband think? I don't care what the bridesmaid thought or what the auntie thought. I'm like, what did your groom think? She's like, he started crying. And I'm like, oh, that's the only person I'm interested in knowing. It's the satisfaction. What the groom felt because I'm dressing her for her marriage. That's I don't care what your mother thinks. Your mother's never going to be happy. I don't care what your bridesmaid thinks. She's not going to be happy for you. But
it's your husband.
The husband, that's who we're designing for. So for us, we have very incredible moments with clients. We're in their lives at the most important moment of their life. We get to see that. So we feel privileged. It's like, what are we doing in this room? The father's crying with the daughter and we're witnessing that moment. Like we're blessed. Yeah. But there's a lot of hard work and there's not a lot of reward when you're doing our type of work. But the reward is the client satisfaction. But I can't not tell young kids that because they think they're going to come in and start up a business like this and be able to go out on the weekends and go to the Oscars and the Emmys. It's not the reality. I mean, we did go to which event?
The Oscars.
The Oscars.
Yes.
So we're very blessed.
We've been blessed.
But what we had to go through to get there, like, of course, we'll remember forever, but there's a lot of sacrifice when you're doing couture.
Yes. So
It's a wonderful life.
that was great. That was brilliant. It's like, we could tell them that, hey, the Oscars, well, wait a minute. Well, we did go to the Oscars,
But we were tired.
We were stitching in the car. We were stitching in the car on the way to the Oscars.
Right. That's after over 120 hours of stitching. Yeah. Right,
exactly. And we're still stitching.
But we were there.
That's right.
Right.
So, here's a question. 2021. It's right around the corner. What are your future plans? What are your plans for 2021? Any shows? What do you have planned? What do you got?
We're looking at or planning to do some virtual shows with some incredibly talented artists in Australia, photographers, and just experimenting on different techniques and new technologies that are out there that we can bring, different industries together and create something quite extraordinary that hasn't been done before. So we're just, once again, this time has allowed us to touch base with different industries that you would never think could work together. And somehow we're managing to potentially make this work for our brand, for their brand, and just try and do something
in a COVID-safe way,
something
because
different.
This is the biggest responsibility we have to humanity, is to keep people safe. There's no use me having a parade with 30 models and infecting everyone. Like, we still have a responsibility to save lives. So we're trying to do something virtual, but still connect all these different industries so we can all benefit. We can, use our platform to expose their incredible talent. Picture my bomber jacket coming down the runway with a skateboard hand painted by an Indigenous artist. Like, we just want to
that type of collaboration,
bring that energy, that street, that grit. So sort of combine my so-called glamorous world and bring it down to reality a bit, and allow an Indigenous artist to come and put her signature on our work and immerse herself into our world, and we immerse ourselves into her world. So we're just trying to be more collaborative, and just give a voice to our Indigenous people, because their work's amazing. Like, I just look at their work and I just like, oh my God, it's stunning. And then we start thinking, oh, how are we going to collaborate? We're just so different. Then all of a sudden we realize we're quite similar. We think, oh my God, all the shapes are the same. And we start seeing the similarities once you allow your worlds to come together and you drop that barrier. So, they're scared of us because we're couture and we dress celebrities. We're scared of them because they're cool. So it's like, so it's a beautiful, there's insecurities on both parts. And I think that's what makes it magical.
That's what makes magic.
As artists, you are insecure. You act on emotion. That's why you're a designer. We're not ashamed to say we're not confident people. But, you take advantage of that and you try harder. And that's why the dresses are so intricate. Because we think, oh, is it cool enough? Is it nice enough? Is it couture enough? We're just never satisfied. And I think that's a good thing, because I wouldn't want to believe that I know it all. I'm glad that I feel insecure about every dress I make. I think that's what makes the dress perfect. That's right. We're constantly doubting, asking each other, getting a headache. So, yeah, I think that's a human thing.
Wow.
And I don't want to lose that.
I'm going to tell you this. You guys are actually super cool. You're very cool. All right?
We tried to look cool today, Cut some rips.
Hey, that's super cool. Like, you guys are cool. What makes you cool is because you're great people. You're very decent. And your work, the level of aesthetics and commitment to your work is gorgeous, man. And it really, and I'm not just saying this, like, it really is. Like, you guys are super cool, man. So please,
Thank
just
you.
know that.
Thank you. We will take those words.
You'll take it.
No,
Listen, guys, you guys, thank you to no end.
Thank
man,
you.
No, thank you.
I mean, you guys, man. I mean, like, and sorry for getting choked up earlier, man. It's just,
Please.
For you guys to take such a strong position and to be who you are, to have done the work you've done, to touch the lives that you've touched, I really appreciate that. And one thing I can say is that your purpose and Fashion Week Studios' purpose are aligned, and this is why I now can confirm and totally understand why we love you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we really mean this.
The feeling's mutual. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys. And look, we look forward to seeing you. Hey, listen, look, we look forward to seeing you for nothing, if for nothing else, to give you guys a great big hug. All right?
Oh, likewise.
I really mean that. Really
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys. Thank you for this evening. Thank you for getting up in the morning over in Australia.
All good.
I'm sure Australia, you guys are bringing a divine light to us, Australia. And I really hope they see that. I really hope they see that. Okay, fellas.
Thank you, and it's been an honor.
Take care. Thank you. We'll talk soon, yeah?
We will.
We will.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Cheers. See you.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.